Hello, 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 hello. Hang on, let's get this working properly. There we go. There we go. So, apologies, folks. I was just saying to Craig there just now. I can't even remember the last time I used the StreamYard. I was trying to figure out buttons. It's kind of you. Do you use that with Ian on a Wednesday?
Yeah, but it's Ian's channel.
All right, so you don't actually have to do anything. You just
I'm
do what
like
you're
I'm
doing.
like I'm here. He chucks me a link and boom.
Right. Yeah, you're not going to control it. Yeah, it's kind of the layout's changed a wee bit. It's trying to figure out how to work it. And then, of course, I started the intro, but to go live, you've got to click on go live at the top. And I started the intro, and I'm like, it doesn't have any timer. But then below it, when you click on go live, it then comes up with another go live button. I realise you have to press the other one as well. So anyway,
You,
we're here.
you got
It's
you got an animated little thing in the corner as well that says StreamYard and it keeps moving.
so a
I
little
don't know if
white
you've
duck.
noticed
Oh,
that.
I see that. I see that. Oh, that's new. That's new. Oh, that's made it worthwhile doing this just to see that little white duck thing, eh?
Yeah,
Well, anyway, how you doing, mate? It's been a wee while. It's been a wee while.
yeah. I mean, but it wasn't really that long ago. We did something together and we had a really nice chat, didn't we? I mean,
Oh, it was just a
another discussion point, wasn't it? Thing, and I was getting really into it, and then we all had to go, which is what
yeah.
generally seems to happen.
Yeah, I'm not a well. No, I wouldn't say I'm not a big fan. I tend to know. Some people are quite happy not pointing any elbows. Are quite happy to like ramble on for 3, 4, 5 hours. What's the apart from a certain charity stream that we did quite a long time
Oh
ago?
yeah.
Yeah. Apart from that one, what's the kind of longest stream that you've done?
Oh, when I was doing some of the movie stuff, I used to go on one with a guy called Pete, and he'd go on till 2 in the morning.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'd get to about 1 o'clock and say, "Sorry, lads, I got to go," and
I
he'd
remember.
stay with his other sort of like person, and they'd chat with going through all the comments. You see, because the comments would take an absolute age, and I'd go,
I know, and that is
"Sorry."
that is the problem when you're doing a live stream. Yeah, you're talking and you see comments and you're not kind of picking up on them. I
Yeah,
do
so
remember watching.
he'd start off at 7:30 and he'd be there till 2:30 in the morning, and
Yeah,
I'd go, "Sorry, I got work."
yeah.
Sorry,
No, I'm
got
not.
a
I'm not.
life.
I remember watching one of these videos that you were in. There was about 4 or 5 other people, and there was one guy who was actually sleeping in it. He was like,
Yeah,
yeah, he's like, oh, he was
that
like
might have
fast.
been Denny, to be quite honest. But he is a person that lives in Birmingham, and he's a traffic controller. And then sometimes he's there at 5 in the morning doing the trams, and then he'd
Okay.
finish work after a 10 or 11 hour shift, and then he'd be doing
Yeah.
a 4 hour stream with me. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah. No, I think everything has it's like I was watching a film last weekend with Lee. I can't even remember what the hell it was about. It had him. What's him? The guy that plays Thor. He was in Ghostbusters, the new Ghostbusters.
Oh,
Christopher.
Chris Helmsworth, or that was it.
Yeah. He was some undercover cop thing, and it was all right. And then I'm like, I was starting to yawn a wee bit. I thought, I wonder when it's finishing. She went for a pee, and I paused it, and it still had another 45 minutes to go. I'm like, ah, for fuck's sake! Sometimes when you're watching a film and although you're enjoying it, you're like, right, come on, just end now. I've been at the cinema where I've been watching a film, and I'm thinking, right, I want it. I've really enjoyed it, but I'm getting bored now. I want it to finish, and then I can say, oh, that was a great film. Because sometimes they can just go on a bit too long. They can drag it out.
Yeah,
You know.
I have to say that, I mean, the last the film called Hail Mary, which has just come out, is 2.5 hours long. But the good news about it is most people have been turning around and saying it didn't seem like that long, which is great. But I didn't feel the same
Uh,
about Oppenheimer. I went and saw Oppenheimer, and I was going,
uh,
Jesus, my bum's falling asleep. It was
I
3 hours, wasn't it long? And I
I
was
was
going,
just I was the same. I was really looking forward to Oppenheimer, and I don't know what I was thinking, what I was expecting. I kind of thought it was going to be, leading up to like the bomb going off, etc., which it was to a degree, but it was quite. it was quite technical. He went in a lot of details, and
Yeah.
I did start to kind of.
It's a great film to watch at home,
Yeah.
and it's great probably to watch on IMAX as well. But I would say that for most people that go to the cinema that have been trained to watch for about 90 minutes, 2 hours, it was like,
Yeah.
wow, this is.
But it's things like Lord of the Rings and that was fine, because these were like, I mean, I think the original Lord of the Rings trilogy is one of the best trilogies ever made. It was just something I've never seen before. The characters, it was just at the kind of cusp when, like, it wasn't called AI, it was called CGI. CGI had really got good at that point. You had like the orcs and all that, and they looked scary. So it was good. But yeah, I've seen some films where they're just like dragging on and on. Like that, was it what was that? Ricky Gervais made a comment about it. Something. It's longer. The film was longer than the list of Leo DiCaprio's 16-year-old ex-girlfriends or something.
That sounds like a Gervais comment.
What was it? Not The Godfather. What was it called? The Irish one with Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro, and all about the mob. Not Godfather.
Oh, Goodfellas.
No. What was it called? It came out about maybe 4 years ago.
Oh, The Irishman.
Yeah, The Irishman. That's the one. Yeah. Again, that kind of went on.
That's a great film.
Yeah.
It is long.
Yeah. Again, if it's a obviously, if it's like anything. It's like anything. And, you know, if you go to a gig and it's really, really good, it's like when the best example is when you go to a gig to see, I don't know, you're going to see an artist, and there's always a fucking warm-up act, and you're like, it's like a guy on a guitar and he's on, you're like, this is absolutely shit, and you're just wanting them to hurry up and get off, and they're like, right, this is my second last song. You're like, thank fuck.
Yeah.
Get yourself to.
yeah, because I've got a train to catch. Yeah.
Anyway, listen, talking to Dragon, I'm curious. I quite like your wallpaper. What is that? It's like little monitors or something.
Oh, honestly, it's just one of them background things that NVIDIA broadcast has got. And I put in 80s versus 2000s. This game.
Okay, keeping in with the theme. Yes, I like that. I did try and put a background.
The nice thing about NVIDIA broadcast is that I could just do that. It's off. I could just do that.
So what app are you using then?
NVIDIA broadcast. It's free.
Oh, right. Yeah, I need to try that. I did try the when I was messing about with my camera just before we came on air. I was messing about with it was StreamYard. I was messing about with backgrounds, but they look shit. If you've not got a kind of, when I clicked on it, I was like just like a floating head with a bit of my arm.
Well, yeah, because you got to pay for it before they'll let you have anything other than about 5 or something, and they're all shit.
Is it? Yeah. But yours is quite authentic. So anyway, listen, folks, welcome. We've got Martroid, we've got Mr. Roberts Retro Gaming, we've got Martroid again, and we've got Craig, and we've got a couple of other people as well. So good evening. Thank you for dropping by. I know my kind of video content is a bit spontaneous, to say the least, and I generally don't give you any notice. But no, the title was 1985. Sorry, is 2026 better than 1985? And that came about when I was out last. No, I was out a couple of days ago in the car, and I can't remember. Something happened, and I just thought, oh God, you know. I wish I could go back when things were more simple. It was like somebody's manners or whatever it was. I can't remember. I just thought, no. I thought I'm going to have. I mean, my girlfriend accuses me of being Victor Meldrew. I do complain a lot. I'm moaning about people. I'm moaning about people in cars, and you know, I was out with Ava a couple of weeks ago, and in fact last week, and I was coming through a door. I held a door open for like 3 people, and 2 of them completely ignored me. And I went, "You're welcome. You're welcome." Another person went, "Thank you." I went, "You're welcome."
Yeah,
it just
manners. I'll back you up a little bit here, because I think, because a lot of people say you're losing patience, but I'm going to turn around and actually turn it round on its arse a little bit here, and turn around and say, actually, your tolerance has changed and adapted to other people's tolerance. Other people are not tolerant, and you are matching it.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than, you as you get older, your patience has become thin. I'll turn around and say, people's minds at the moment are, if it's longer than 5 minutes, I don't want to know. I want something fast. So I think people's tolerances have changed, and tolerance of kids and young adults and so forth has changed, and we've adapted to that. So our tolerance has changed and gone, oh, you're going to be like that with me? I'm going to be back. Right.
Yeah.
Tolerance. There you are. So I wouldn't say that you're old. I mean, there is that famous saying, I look back with fondness because there's less things for me to look forward to as I get older. So I'm constantly looking back.
There's less time to look forward to stuff.
Yeah,
That's why
it's a famous quote.
Yeah.
I'm turning around and saying we as in our age having to adapt quicker because we're having to work on the basis that the age group that things are aimed at now are a lot younger. So of course we adapt faster to try and keep up with that.
I mean, I'm at the age where there's not many situations where I'm not the oldest person.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? I'm the oldest person in this. Wherever I go, I'm like, I'm the oldest person here. Oh, I'm the oldest person. I need to start hanging around old people's old age homes and feel like one of the young people. But yeah, it's weird. Yeah, that's obviously getting old. But yeah, well, we'll tell you what. Yeah, manners. I mean, I think manners is something that you're kind of brought up with. I would say I was always brought up to say please, thank you, respect my elders, I suppose, and just have manners. And has manners deteriorated, do you think, over the years?
Yeah,
I don't know. And it goes back.
I don't see too many people holding a door open. My mum, before she fell, it was a famous story that I've said a number of times. When she was going to off to town, she'd say, "Alexa, can you please stop? Please stop. Why are you saying that? Because it's just Alexa, stop, or something like that."
Oh, your mum was saying that. Yeah.
My mum would say, "Please, I'm off downtown now, Alexa. See you later." She'd be like that. I mean, going, why are you telling a robot that you're going downtown? It don't know, but it's politeness, and it's inbred in her.
Yeah, it's automatic. I mean, I could not, like, when I was in America with Eva last year, and the couple that were with her, they're lovely. But I noticed, and it wasn't just them, but just other people, when we went to a restaurant, they would say, they would put you'd put their dinner down, and they would just go, and they'd give it to me, and I go, thank you, and thank you.
Yeah.
I would feel, if you said to me, I'll give you £5 if you go up and take something from somebody and don't say thank you, but I'll give you £5 for doing it. I would struggle. I would struggle to not say thank you, because it's just it's an automatic thing. I think part of getting older is we always think it was better in our day. It's like when you talk about the summer in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, it was always 100 degrees. It was always 75 degrees during the summer, and winter, it's Christmas, there was snow on the ground. Winter, it was always thick snow. The reality is always somewhat different, or somewhere in between.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's probably the same with manners. I'm quite sure when I was at school or whatever, there were still rude people, but I think that people have, as you say, become more intolerant. There's too much a rush, and part of that is just manners. People, especially with younger people, I'm completely invisible. I could be walking along and you'll see a group of kids, and they'll just like blank you.
I was never very good, Alan, in London and Manchester, because I'd be walking down the street, and if somebody gave me eye contact, I'd go, hello, or sorry, sir, or whatever it is. If they bashed into me now, people just bash your shoulders and you don't feel anything for it. But London has always been, I think, one of those places where if you get on the tram, nobody gives eyesight, nobody gives up their seat, nobody looks at anybody. They've got their earphones on, reading their paper, whatever it is, and it seems like they're just ignorant and they're just not very nice, and all of this sort of stuff. You get back home, and you say, "Thank God I'm home," because miserable lot they are down in the smoke. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
you know, it's just one of those. I mean, I did have conversations with my girlfriend in Manchester, and she'd say, "Why do you keep saying hello when you're walking down the street?" I said, "Because that's what I did when I was at home." I said, "You know, it's just one of those things. If somebody bashed into my, I go, 'Oh, sorry, mate,' or whatever."
Another, yeah.
It's just how it was.
You're right. I mean, I know like places like London is probably worse, but I mean, even in my hometown now, you know, you go up to the local shopping centre, and like I says, I held the door open for 3 people, and 2 of them just walked. And these weren't kids; these were like women, 40, 50-year-old. And I mean, yeah, they were. I think you could tell as they're walking through that they had something. They were obviously like in a hurry or whatever. But I was invisible. Oh, the door was open. They just went straight through, and I'm like, "You're welcome," and "You're welcome," and they didn't even, you know. So
I don't think mobile phones help. Every mother seems to have their head caught in a bloody mobile phone and not even looking at their kids while they're walking a pram and all sorts of stuff. That annoys me as well. But that's another thing for later on when we get to mobile phones.
What we're going to do, just for shits and giggles, I mean, minute, I'm just going to email this. I've got a list. Let's see, Alan Stewart. Right. Manners. Yeah, I've been thinking a few other things there. Right. Manners. Okay, I'm going to send that to myself. Just bear with me, folks. There's a send. It's up there. What I'm going to do, we've got quite a few. What Dale and I have done, or Craig and I have done, is come up with a list of keywords of things we want to talk about. Was it better? Do you prefer it now, or do you prefer it back in 1985? So let's.
Do you know what? I'm so glad he didn't turn around and say, "You're going to be Dell Pro 2026, right, or 2025, and I'm going to be Pro A. Let's see who wins, right?" Because I'm going. I think I know which side I'd rather be in, right? Because that one, right? Because I think we all know which one wins, and I don't care if we've got people in here that are 17-year-old or what. I think I know which is the winner.
We'll see. We won't prejudge it.
No.
Right. I think we've kind of discussed. I don't want to talk for half an hour on each one, but what we need to. Oh, fuck's sake, hang on a second.
By the way, I thought it was 80s versus 2026, not 85. I didn't know it was a specific year.
I picked, you know, the reason I picked 1985 is because that was probably the sweet spot in my growing up.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about it before.
Got my first girlfriend, the computer. It was just I could start to go to the pub. That was if somebody could say
it was the end of school and the beginning of going to work.
The pinnacle of sort of me being old or whatever it was. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to put it to the vote, but you and I will give our opinion, and if we're both if you say 2026 and I say 1985. We then let the people decide what one. So, in your opinion, was Manners better in 2026 or 1985?
1985.
Well, I'm going to go for 1985. There we go. So we don't need the viewer's opinion. Right. Next one. Right. This is a good one. And Craig's already mentioned something. Films.
Right.
And now I'm trying to think. What if you could? I think it's if you could go to the cinema tonight and watch a film that was made in 2026, or could it go to the cinema tonight and Back to the Future was coming on, or Gremlins, whatever, what would you prefer? So I'll let you go first. Films. Give a brief synopsis of what you think is better. Why?
It is difficult, this one. And I mean, like I said, I did get it wrong. I thought it was 80s versus 2020s, really. But I looked at it like this. If I was to think of films between 2020 and 2026, name a film, plus do you know the director? I don't think there's many people that could even think what the last film they went and saw at the cinema was compared to the 80s. Do you see what I mean? So, I mean, 1985 is Back to the Future. I think everybody expects that if you're thinking of a 1985 film, it'll be Back to the Future, right? But it's everything about the 80s. There's E.T., Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, Back to the Future, Batman, Platoon, Blade Runner, Top Gun, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, for goodness sake, right?
All these comedies.
The thing about this is what I want to say. Everybody, I mean, even if I was to reel off those films to you, you'd probably know the directors. E.T., Spielberg, Back to the Future, Robert Zemeckis, okay. Batman, Tim Burton, Tim Burton, I think I know that one. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, John Hughes. Most people know these names: John Hughes, Tony Scott, Ridley Scott, Oliver Stone, Tim Burton. Right now, I'll reel off a load of films that have come out in the last 6 years: Oppenheimer, Dune Part 2, Batman, Megan, Spider-Man No Way Home, Sinners, The Substance, and The Creator. Can you name any of the directors to those films?
No, not a chance.
Did any of those films ring any bells that you might have seen or heard of, or you remember even seeing if you did watch them?
Yeah, I mean, I watched Oppenheimer. I watched No Way Home, Spider-Man. That was the animation one, eh?
No. Not the animated one, the last live
animated one. All right, I don't think I've seen. Oh, have I seen it? There you go. I can't even see if I've seen it. I might have seen it. I can't remember actually.
Yeah, exactly. Right. This is the point. Is there something about the film that makes you go, I've got an image of that film, right? In your head, it comes straight up and says, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because in Back to the Future, I can see him now playing the guitar on stage, Johnny Be Good and all of that sort of stuff, or the DeLorean traveling at, and you even know the speed of the damn car, for God's sake. That's how many, right? Even Empire Strikes Back, it's like, oh, what's the famous bit in Empire Strikes Back? Oh, yeah, he finds out that Darth Vader, spoilers.
Yeah.
Darth Vader.
In case you've not seen it, in case you've only got a story for the last 40 years.
Right? But what I'm trying to get at is, we should be able to go and say, I remember a certain scene in a film if I've seen it. In Oppenheimer, it might be the explosion or something, right? It could be anything, right? It's just, and you can't, and yet these films should be in our minds now because we've just seen them.
Yeah.
And when you see a film from the 80s, you could turn around and say it's a bit unfair because you've seen them that many times. But it generally isn't, because
possibly, But I think because you wanted to watch them more than once. See if I was to try and sum up, I think we're pretty much we're agreeing that 1985 made the best film. When I say 1985, it's the 1980s really. That's that's what we're talking about. I think the films were made. They were fun. They were entertaining and they were fun. When was the last time you came out to the cinema or watched a film on your big 65-inch TV and go, that was a fun film?
That's the other thing. Look at the 80s and comedies, and then look in the 2000s and say what comedies have you gone to see that were fun?
You think about,
comedies are dead.
Keith's mentioned Back to the Future. Weird Science, Craig's saying there, Weird Science. There was all like the Richard Pryor films and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and that. Is it because?
See No Evil, Hear No Evil. You've got Coming to America. You've got Trading Places. You've got Ghostbusters. You've got
so many fantastic comedies. Have people in like present time, do we not want to laugh? It seems to me that most of the, and I'm not saying every film, but most of the films that I end up watching is this this undercover cop who was retired because he was found guilty of murder. He's going to try and track down these guys who are actually undercover. And this woman, she's actually working for the Russian government, and I'm like, what's going on? And it's just like they're too complicated. They're too in depth. They're trying to be too
Political
smart.
correctness might come into it though, Alan, a little bit with comedy. You can't be topical these
possibly.
days because you're going to upset someone. You know what I mean? And then you can't upset someone in a film because that'll kill it, and then that'll be it. You know, and you can't. You know,
Possibly. I mean, yeah. I will just. It's a slight. Would you call it? Going off topic. I went to see Harry Enfield a couple of weeks ago. It was Harry Enfield and No Chums, and we were about 6 rows for the front, so we had a really, really good view. And I didn't really know what to make of it because I mean I love Harry Enfield. I think his comedy with Paul Whitehouse, Kathy Burke, the Fast Show. I know he wasn't in the Fast Show, but that comedy really appeals to me. I think it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I didn't know what it was going to be like. I thought how entertaining is one guy on his own, but you know what? He was absolutely fantastic. He's an old man now, but half the stuff that he did he couldn't do now. He couldn't do that. You know, it's not politically correct. So
Harry Enfield to me, when I was watching him back in the day, was the sort of Peter Kay of about 10 years ago, where he was a very observant type of person. He would stereotype people that he knew, like market traders and people that come to the door that were political, that tried to sell you politics, you know, down your throat. And market stall people trying to sell flowers or whatever it was. And it was observant type, you know, like kids, you know, a person that was just turned into a teenager and all of this sort of stuff. It was observant, stereotypical stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, as you say, name if you were to say to me, name a comedy film that you've watched in the last 3 years. I could say Planes, Trains and Automobiles, but that doesn't count. I would struggle, you know. I would struggle. I don't know.
The comedies that I've seen in the 2020s have all been sequels to stuff that came out in the 80s, like Coming to America 2, and things like this that were on Netflix or something that also had a cinema sort of like showing, if you see what I mean.
Yeah,
there have been films that have got comedy in them, like The Fall. Like they brought out the Fall Guy, didn't they, as a film, which was based on the TV series, and that's got comedy in it, but it's not actually out there to be a comedy. It's not an outright comedy. You see what I mean?
When you think of more recent films, like in the last 10 years, you had like Ben Stiller, you've got Adam Sandler. These guys haven't really made any films
like that.
Yeah, they've not made any. Like in the last 10 years, I can't really think of anything. But so to kind of move on from films, what is better now with film technology, whatever, that they didn't have in 1985? I'm going to go first. You can say, well, you know, we back in the day we called it special effects because it was made of cardboard and it was painted. Then you had things like Jurassic Park. It was CGI, computer generated.
Yeah, computer generated imagery.
I'm thinking computer generated. It should be called CGG, computer generated graphics. Anyway, yeah. So it's you had things like, but now it's AI, and we've all anyone that's on Facebook or YouTube, in fact, you'll be absolutely inundated with these little short videos with Sylvester Stallone as he is now, walking around the film set, putting his arm around Rocky 1, Rocky 2, putting his arm around Carl Weathers and the guy that played. And it's all these dead people, and it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. There's a video. I'm showing my age there. There's a short film. Is it called animation when it's CGI? I don't know. With Kevin Costner. With I'm looking at great. Keith saying Kevin and Perry. I'm saying Kevin Costner. It's Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise fighting on top of a roof. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
it's
I've seen Bruce Lee try and beat up Godzilla or something. I think.
yeah.
As well.
I mean that one way. I keep saying Kevin and Perry. That one way with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. Unless somebody told you that that wasn't real, you would believe that it was real.
Yeah.
So we're now. So to say it's a good thing, we can now look forward to films with I don't know, with Tom Cruise fighting John Wayne and Bruce Lee, and we can bring people back from the dead, and we can have anything we want. Anything is possible now. So you could say that's a good thing, but is it really? Not really. I think back in the day when it was in 1985, when you went to see a film, you came away and you went to your mate, what do you think of that? Oh, it's brilliant. What do you think of the special effects for the car? Or what do you think of the special effects? I mean, I know Jurassic Park was the 90s, but we all remember seeing when they first drove up and you see them standing up in the car and they're looking up at this dinosaur and they're like, fucking hell. And there was wow moments. I've made videos and computer games about wow moments, and there was wow moments for me in Star Wars and other films like that. You just don't get that now. Have we become too what's the word for it? Fussy? We demand better.
No, I wouldn't say so. I'll tell you that I wanted the film bit to become a draw. Right, it's too hard to say because when you're looking at 85, you're talking about films that you've seen a million times. When you're looking at the 20s, you're looking at stuff that you've only just come out, and that means that you're being harsh on something that hasn't got a chance. You'd have to ask somebody in 2046 whether 2026 films were any good or not. Really to be equal on it. But I will say. It's one of those things where I don't think we're being fussy. I think Hollywood are playing safe. We were in a period of growth in the 80s where we would take a risk. Even a script that might be a bit damning on something, they'd say, do you know what? Film it. Let's see what happens. We'll have an 18 certificate. How many 18 certificate films are being made at the moment compared to what they were in 1985?
Yeah,
everything now has to be a PG or whatever it is because you've got to have bums on seat to get the revenue in. If you have an 18 certificate, you've taken away 2/3 of your market. So of course you can't have 18 certificate films.
I think
I'm just going to say that, Alan. And I'll
that's fair. One thing that I found out, because I'm involved in obviously some of the acting stuff, the director of one of the films, Ali Robertson, he was telling us that, because we were saying, we need to get this film into the cinema and that, and he says for any film to go into the cinema, it costs an absolute fortune. I think I don't know what it is. It costs the film company an absolute fortune to get it into the cinema. The sales, the ticket revenue is 80-20.
Cinema in favor of the actual cinema that you're selling it at.
For every 100 people, the first 80 people, all the money goes to the cinema, and the 20 people goes to. I was astounded. I'm thinking
anybody will tell you, Alan, that the marketing budget is more than the film budget.
Yeah. That's
stupid.
Yeah, I saw a quote. A guy was talking, and he says you can have the best script in the world, you can have the best producer, best writer, best director, best actors. If you've not got a marketing budget, then forget it.
And then there's the other thing, which is Mark Commode. The Commode and Mayo. They have a YouTube thing, but they used to be on radio. Said, what is the point of awards? Does anybody actually look at anything now that says this has won 5 Oscars, whatever, anymore? Because nobody gives a shit anymore. It's like it's whether I saw it or not, really, to be quite honest.
I mean,
back in the day, if something came out like Ben-Hur and it's something said on it, this thing's won 11 awards, you'd be going, yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah.
But a film from last year that won 5 or 6, you'd probably go, doesn't make me excited to go and see that.
Yeah.
Not one bit.
I think another part of it as well is back in the 80s, it was a big thing going to the cinema. You'd say to
Wow.
your guy at work, "What are you doing this weekend?" "Oh, I'm going to the cinema to see Back to the Future 2. Oh, fucking hell, when you were excited about it, it was a big event, getting into the cinema and getting the popcorn, overpriced popcorn and whatever it was, and then sitting down and then, enjoying the film. I mean, the highlight for me, probably like the sort of in the more recent cinema, was like the 1990s. You can always remember sitting down to finally watch Terminator 2, you just get dun 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 dun, and the face is getting bigger. Dun 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 dun. Then you get, and you're like, whoa! And you were
Fidel
in
did
for a
an
treat.
absolutely fantastic score in that film. But it's just like you said, Alan. I think when we move on from this, which we'll do in a minute. Yes, we can look at 85 being nostalgia. I'm not giving 2000s a good enough shout, but if you were to ask me tonight, which I would rather be, it'd be the 80s.
Yeah,
simple as that.
You don't.
Out of those films that I read out, by the way, Oppenheimer, Dune Part 2, Batman, these have all made millions of money, right? But here's the directors' names: Chris Nolan, yeah, I know that one. Denis Villeneuve, Matt Reeves, Gerard Johnson, John Watts, Ryan Coogler, Gareth Edwards. I would not know, if you read those names out, what films they did.
Yeah.
If I were you to ask me, Spielberg and Robert Zemeckis and Tim Burton and
George
Oliver
Lucas.
Stone, I would know them instantly.
Yeah, when a Spielberg film came out, you went to see it. You went to see it because you knew it was going to be good. Not every film, but you know what I mean. Now it's
So I've got to give these people a chance, because all of those films I have watched and I have found some greatness in watching them, and I'm not giving them but my answer to it is 80s, 85. Okay, I'm just going to go 85. I'd rather watch an 85 film than a film that came out this year. There you go.
If you were to ask me to give me 10 films that you've watched in the last 3-4 years, I would struggle. I would absolutely struggle. And I've said to you before, the number of times that I'll maybe go down, because go down to watch a new film, and I put it on, I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to watch Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
Yeah,
I end up watching an 80s film because to my mind, and that's why I get, when I hear people going on and on and on and on about films, you're like, it's to entertain you, mate, and that's what it should be. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think 1985.
You might feel a bit different, because I mean, Planes, Trains and Automobiles is 87, so you can't actually even choose it, Alan.
Yeah,
sorry,
well, it's the 80s. Right? We're talking about.
And
the
if you were looking at a John Hughes film in 85, you'd probably be talking Pretty in Pink and St. Elmo's Fire, or
but they're still great films.
All of those films. I wasn't quite a John Hughes fanatic until Uncle Buck and Planes, Trains and Automobiles, to be honest. But,
and that was John Candy. Yeah, he was just Cool Runnings and that. Brilliant. I mean, I love John Candy. So yeah, it's 1985, and you're going for 85. I'm going for 85 as well. Right,
but I think it's a little bit unfair, because I'm just going to say it here. I'd rather if it had been a draw, because it's a bit unfair, because we're not giving 2026 a chance, and you have to, 85 obviously has got 40 years on us.
Yeah.
So
but just based purely on what I've seen in the last 3-4 years, what I watched in the 80s, and I know what I'd rather be. So we're going for 1985.
Yeah.
Right, the next one, just when we're talking there, dating, yes.
Dating. Oh, Christ.
Dating. Obviously, dating in the present era it's all apps.
Apps,
This. Back in the 80s, you had to go to a pub or a discotheque and buy somebody a drink and then hopefully get a phone number or whatever. And
yeah,
where are you in that one? Good and
bad. Yeah. To say I haven't dated in quite some time is an understatement. Most people know I'm single. In the 80s, yeah, I really looked. I'll tell you what, it was a ritual. It was a ritual, because once I started to work, at the weekend on a Saturday, I'd go down and say, I need a new pair of trousers. I need a new shirt. Right. And I'd go down and I'd get it. And then I'd get excited because it was like, when I get home, I'm going to have a bath. And then I'm going to put my new shirt, my new trousers on. Then I'm going to go downtown, meet my mates. And then we're going to go around and have a drink. And then it'll be at the end of the night. Are we going home now? I'll go to a nightclub. Nightclub, innit? Yeah, all right then. Right. So you go to a nightclub. And then it was like watching the people pissed up. So I said, I don't think you'll be able to chat that girl up, do you? And there'll be dares going on. Dares were a big thing. It was like, go up to that girl over there and say something like, do you fuck on first dates or something stupid, right? You know, and you do it because you were stupid and young, and it was like, and I mean, there was a famous one that my friend Steve Baxter did. He read in a magazine, if you went up to a girl, if you went up to 100 women and said, do you fuck on first dates, one out of 100 would say yes. So he'd go, right, there's more than 100 women up here. I'm going to go around everyone. And we'd dare him to do it, right?
And was
because
he right?
Was stupid enough to believe that there's 1 in 100, and he'd think, oh, in a room of 100 women, right, I'm going to do it.
He was like Charmer was your pal, wasn't he? What the hell?
Well, Steve Baxter, yeah, he was brilliant. But all I'm saying is that, yeah, it was a thing that I'm more comfortable with in the 80s than I am the 2000s with apps. With apps, you've got, with so many things going on now where you could hide your image and you can hide who you are. You could be a pedophile. You could be a mass murderer, all of this sort of stuff. I worry for blokes and women. I'm not going to be sexist here, men and women. There are so many men that have been beaten up by women. It's not just one-sided thing on this.
These predator hunter groups and all this kind of shit. You don't know who you're talking to.
I'm going to go with the old school and say, doing the hard work of trying to look nice, go up there, be nice, bump into somebody that could be your partner just by talking, not texting and all of this sort of stuff, all of that. I'm the old school, so every time I'm going to go 80s, but my experience is I haven't dated for a long time, so
yeah,
you know.
So just when you're talking, you've come
know.
up with a good. What we're going to do for the rest of the categories, you say the good and bad about it. You say your bit, but you don't make your judgment until I've then.
Sorry.
Just in case I say to you, and you go, "Oh, actually, that's a good point." So yeah. Dating, yeah. I mean,
I'll try and split it up. Sorry, that was me telling stories and stuff.
You hit the nail on the head. Obviously, in the 80s, I was 17, 18 years old, you know.
Yeah.
Much better looking, thinner, bit more. I was going to say a bit more hair. Didn't have to dye my beard. I didn't have. I couldn't grow a moustache in the 80s. Never mind a bloody beard. But
you're like
it was it was more innocent times. There wasn't the same expectation, you know. It was, you got the old. I mean, me and my mates, we would go to the pub and you'd be sitting there nursing your pint of Tennant's Lager and, you know, bit of Rick Astley and Spandau Ballet and God, whatever it was listening to great music.
The romantics, right?
And then there was, you would see a table with a couple of girls sitting on it, and you'd be I would be looking and go, I think she's looking at me, and we never ever to get any further. It was just like, oh, she's looking, and you got a wee butterfly. But the thing about like dating in the 80s, it was old school. You met somebody, you would maybe go up and speak to them, and you know, you'd maybe dance with them a couple of times, whatever, and then you would, if you were lucky, you'd ask for their phone number and you'd give it, and you'd go out on a date and maybe whatever.
Yeah.
I've had considerable experience with online dating when I separated, and yeah, it was, at first I thought this is the best thing ever, because I can always remember going out when I was like single again, going out, and my mate said to me, "Oh, you need to," I was aware of dating apps, but I've never obviously tried them, and he told me, "Oh, you need to get this thing. Oh, it's called Tinder. Oh, what is it?" And we were in a club, a rock disco, and he said, "Give me your phone." And he went, right there. He goes, "Right, smile." I'm like, and he took a photograph. "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm just putting your profile picture up in a picture." And then about half an hour later, he went, "Oh, these girls have liked you." "What do you mean?" He goes, "I've swiped right." And I went, oh, bloody hell. And that was it. Oh, fuck it, this is great. And it was like suddenly getting the keys to a sweet shop, and it turned into a bit of an obsession. It was just like different
Yes,
things.
I can
And
understand that.
initially, it's great because it's like you get your when you come out of a long time relationship and all that, a marriage, whatever, your self esteem's pretty low and all that kind of stuff. But then when you suddenly realise, oh, wait a minute, there's actually people that think I'm all right, and whatever. And so yeah, initially it was great, but you quickly find out that there's so much dishonesty going on. I mean, there was more than a couple of times where I would you would chat to somebody and say, right, do you want to we'll meet for a Starbucks in Livingston? Yeah, that's fine. And then you'd be sitting in Starbucks, and then next minute you would, oh, what kind of car? Oh, I drive a white BMW. All right, okay. Oh, there's a white BMW. Oh, for fuck's sake! Can you? Like, I wish I'd kept my receipt. You don't look anything. You look nothing like your picture, and you're like, oh, but you've got to. They probably said the same about me, but yeah, and it quickly, and then even when you did like click with somebody, it became tedious. You thought, oh, I really like this person, and then you'd go out for a third date, and then they'd be like, all right, do you want to go and see the new Bohemian Rhapsody film? I remember going out and, oh yeah, 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 and I'd bought tickets, and then it was like 3 or 4 days later, I was in Morrison's about to buy some sweets to take to the cinema, and she texts me. She goes, "I'm really, really sorry, but I'm not going to be coming tonight. You're a lovely guy, but I just don't think it's not for me." And you're like, for fuck's sake! And it's just like getting kicked in the balls. And so, yeah, I don't envy anybody. Saying that, I did meet Lee through a dating app, and it was great. But
Well, that's good.
there was a lot of people that you can say got through. That sounds terrible. But yeah, it's. I mean, on Facebook, there's like how on Facebook now you just get all the shit that comes. You don't ask for it and it appears. And there's like online dating on Facebook, and you see all these poor people putting pictures of themselves, and then people are ripping the piss out of them, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, man, that's awful. Women and men getting the piss taken out of them, and it's horrible. It's such a hollow experience. So, and I think it's now turned society into, and it's not just with like relationships. People are unwilling to. People want perfection. Oh, there's a nice guy. Oh, he looks quite nice. He's like, he's better. He's better. Oh, he's better. And it's just like it's a bit like TikTok on your phone. You just see kids going, and they're just endless scrolling through videos. Boom, 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 boom,
But
boom.
just
And
to
it's
go
like
back
that.
a little bit, I don't know whether you know this or not, but did you know of dating sites before apps?
Yeah, yes, I did meet somebody on that.
And there's the intermediate period. We're talking 85, and we're going, okay, there was the old school going to the pub, going to a nightclub. Hopefully, when you go to a nightclub, everybody's so pissed up, you might find that you're looking quite handsome, right? And then you've got the other side, which you're talking about apps and so forth. But there was the middle ground where you actually employed an agency. And I'll tell you one, Dateline. There you are, Dateline, right? Now, Dateline, you joined and you paid £100 for free searches.
Yeah.
When you'd paid you £100, they gave you free searches, and they gave you you said which one you wanted. They gave you a telephone number. It was up to you to contact them, and then you'd go out and all of that sort of stuff. And that was the done deal of the thing, from according to Dateline. I'll tell you a little story on that. I was in Manchester. I didn't know anybody. I joined Dateline. My dad helped me pay for half of the searches that I had to do because I didn't have any money because I was buying a house. I went on 5-6 different dates, and each time they didn't want to know. And I went out on one date, and I spoke to this lady, and I said, "So would you like to meet up again?" "No, sorry." And I went, "Is there any reason why you wouldn't mind being, as you said, we had a nice meal and a nice time?" I said, "Oh yeah, because I do this every week. I actually go out, and I get a nice free meal out of it." So it made you very skeptical then that women are really hard, and that actually all they're doing it for is to get a nice night out. They're not even interested in a date at all or going out with
Yeah,
people or that. They do it every week and they were getting free meals. It was nice to get out the house.
yeah.
And I just thought, wow, this is not working, is it?
I think, yeah,
So
and
stop that.
people's expectation. I mean, we've both probably watched that stupid Manosphere with Louis Theroux, and one of the guys said he had a group. He did a podcast, and he had all these girls, and he said to one of them, "What's your ideal man? Who are you looking for? Describe him." She went, "He's 6'4". I don't know, £240, black, earns $300,000 a year,
Yeah.
blah 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 blah." And he goes, well, the person that you're looking for is in 0.0012 of the population. He goes, I've got bad news for you. You're going to be single all your life, and
Yeah.
that's the problem we've now got is people just want perfection, and it's just like boom, boom, boom. So yeah, and it's worse now. People would say, "Oh, it's better now because you've got this thing. It's instantly disposable," but it's not. Trust me, it's not a
Wow.
good thing. So
The
I'm gonna.
other answer I've got from that is there is a film called What Women Want. Right? It's a nearly a 2-hour film, and it's about a bloke who can read women's minds, and he finds out what women want. And I turned around and said, "Yeah, because if you wanted a film called What Men Want, it'd be 10 minutes long." Right? what women want
I was
is
thinking
about
2 minutes
2 hours
long,
long.
mate. But anyway,
It's bloody complex, and what men want 10 minutes.
yeah.
Bring that film in.
Aye.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, right, 1985 or 2026.
85, isn't it?
85 for me as well. 1985. Right, music. Now I know this is. It's not so much is music better because obviously we're of a certain age. I don't listen to Ed Sheeran or whatever it is or Taylor Swift. The experience of listening to music.
And I usually say who.
What I'll do is I'll go first. So it's more about the experience of music. Music in the 80s, you listen to the radio, you got to hear songs on the radio, or you went to your mate's house and you go, "What's that? Oh, it's a new Specials single, Too Much to You." "Oh, I quite like that. I quite like that." So that was the only music I really got to listen to. My mum and dad would play music on their music player. If you wanted to buy music, you went to any record store, and you would pick up an album, or you'd get a seat. What did a single cost in 1985? Was it maybe $1.99 or something? 99p,
Probably around
maybe
that, maybe even less.
Yeah, and then they always had the box, the cardboard box with singles, and they were like 45p, and you'd go through. Oh, well, there's Skids. Simple Minds, I'll have that. And you went through, and then you would buy the album, and it was glorious because you had this big, some of the albums you would open it up and you'd have pictures and maybe the lyrics, and you would look at it. You would go to your mate's house. "Oh, can I look at your records?" Yeah. And you would dig out the thing and you'd start looking through them, and it was an experience. It was a tangible experience, and so that was a good side. The bad side to 1980s music was your mate maybe had the latest Howard Jones 12-inch single, whatever, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's really good enough. I can't afford it." So you had to kind of go without. You saw something that somebody else had, you wanted it. "Oh, I can't really afford to buy that," or whatever. Or they maybe had like, I don't know, Orchestral Manoeuvres in the actual latest album. You think, "Well, I'm gonna have to wait for my birthday," or whatever it is. So you couldn't get anything. You had to kind of be selective about what you could afford to buy, etc., etc. So that's the good and bad side to the 80s music. Nowadays, I've got access to virtually any song that I want. I could bring it up on my phone and just it's there. It's there. And that's where the problem starts for me. It's like the old PlayStation syndrome when you've got 100 and 200 pirated games. You go, don't play. When I go down to the gym, I go into that. I mean, I've made up. I finally figured out how to make up a playlist on Amazon Music. But I would go in and go, right, what am I going to listen to? Oh, I don't know. And you're like, oh, I don't know. What do you want to? You can't decide what you want to listen to. So there's that. That's the downside. The plus side is I can be sitting working. I'll think, oh, what was that song that my mum used to? It was by Dennis Russo's "Forever and Ever." Alexa, played "Forever and Ever." I like playing, and it would just play it. You've got this infinite. I mean, it's like the best thing ever. You've got this infinite jukebox, and it's all there. Um, the other good side is you've got the music quality. The quality of listening to music is obviously much better. I mean, back in the 80s, I had the big speakers, and the sound was probably a bit shit. Now I can put in I've got a set of Bose headphones I can put on. I've got my little earpod things, and it's fantastic. So that's great. But then the downside to that is I can be in the gym, you could be in the gym, we're on bikes, and we're sitting next to each other, but I'm listening to Iron Maiden, you're listening to Kraftwerk, and we're not talking. We're everybody's in their own little world, listening to their own music. So you've not got the communal listening to an album, whatever. So yes, I'll let you chat about what you think. Good and
Well,
bad.
I'll try and keep technology out of it. But it's very difficult when you talk about music because we're talking about
It's about the experience of music, yeah.
experiences with music, and of course, experience comes from what you listened it on, and that's the problem, you see, because that's when technology comes in. And I had to look it up, and of course, CD players were around in 1985. Now, I'm going to go with the experience. Yes, I used to love going down to the record store. There was a specific specialist record store that I'd go in, but there was also on television music programs that I'd listen to, and on radio I'd listen to the top 40 that was on a Sunday, that was on from I think about 5 o'clock till about 7 or something like that from memory. I bought tapes that I'd record the music from on radio for the top 40. But I didn't have in my first car. I only had a radio in it. Didn't have a tape player in it or a CD player. That was a little bit later on. I did have a Walkman in '85, and I did do some walking downtown, and I'd have a Walkman on, and it was all about, oh, does that have Dolby Noise Reduction B on it, and all of this sort of stuff? Does it have reverse? Does it stop when it gets to the end?
Sorry, mate.
I'm just going to go back to the music. To me, it was just like you said, going around your mate's house, what you listened to, what you saw on TV. Going to the pub and seeing a live band on a Sunday was quite easy to do in my town. There was always live music that you could go and see without having to go and see a big band or a big well-known artist. But it was easy for me to go and see a well-known artist, and it was within my price range. Right, I could actually pay for it and see it and get down there on the train, and I'd still come back and be able to afford a bag of chips. Right, that my mum and dad used to say as a story. I like the experience that I put a vinyl record on and I would listen to the whole of the side rather than picking the needle up and putting it along and playing the next track. Right. I like the idea that I had to listen to the whole album because I scared shitless that I'd scratched the record, right? So I would listen to it, and so I'd get the experience of the whole album. 85 is I find it much harder in talking about the modern age because, just like you said, there is streaming. You can, if you don't like a track, you can go next without me giving it a chance. I don't listen to modern music. I've tried to listen to Radio 1, and I tell you what, they all sound the same to me. And I keep thinking I am sounding like my dad. My dad used to say, what are you listening to? You're just old. You don't know what I'm listening to. This is the stuff. This is what you want to listen to, Dad. It's top notch. It's the special punk, all that sort. You go back and listen to bloody Cliff Richard or whatever it is, whatever you like. I swear I'm just stuck with, if it hasn't got a melody that or words that I can actually hear and understand what you're talking about, I don't want to know, and therefore I'm out of touch. But that's my experience with music, Alan. It's much like yours, so I've cut it down into that just little short bit so that we can move on. But I used to love experiencing new albums, new bands. It seemed much easier for me and now I feel alienated. I feel that's the word. I'm alienated with new music. I don't feel it's aimed at me, wanted by me, or anything else.
Yeah. That's an age thing. So, what are you going to go for?
80s,
80s.
85.
Yeah, I'm kind.
Not giving
I mean,
it a chance, though, Alan. You see,
my,
again, if I gave it a
yeah.
chance, it might give a different answer.
I mean, I'm trying to keep this. I'm trying to keep the typing music out. Sort of saying, well, I don't like Ed Sheeran, but I liked Jean-Michel Jarre, whatever. But there was something special about music. It was more than just listening to music. It was about the looking at it was like the tangible thing, picking up an album,
Oh yeah.
whatever. We had far less.
How can you get excited by a JPEG on an MP3 player when you've got a bloody great big album that you could read the words in?
You've got nothing to look at, and CDs diluted that quite a bit. You never said, "Oh, can I look at your CD collection?" And then, of course, when MP3s came along, and then ultimately streaming music, I love my heart says the 80s because of everything that I've spoke about. My brain thinks it's absolutely fantastic that I can just play anything I want. There's, any tune at all that I want.
Well, can I do this? And it's a cheat. Music 80s, technology 2000s, because you're talking about what you're playing it on, how you're getting it, and all of the rest of the stuff.
Yeah,
and to be quite honest, you can't beat where we are now with getting it.
Aye, but I'm trying to keep out individual groups out, not the actual music you listen to. It was more about the experience of listen. Do you prefer the experience of listening to music in the 80s, listening to what was a limited record collection? Would you pick that, or would you rather have
that's why I was saying I'm trying to keep technology out of it. So if you were to ask me, did I find it better experiencing Spandau Ballet, Human League, OMD, and all of the rest of Jean-Michel Jarre and all those different genres that were in the 80s as music, not the stuff that I was playing it on, experiencing it, or getting it? And of course, I'm going, when it comes to the music, nothing will beat the 80s for me. I like a lot of stuff that came out in the 80s. And when you're talking about the music now, I couldn't care less a little bit really about modern artists, how they get their stuff out there, whether they're number one this week. I don't care.
Yeah,
so I look at it like that.
That's a big part that we've kind of touched. We'll just touch on it very quickly. Yeah, back in '85, Top of the Pops was a big thing. Everybody on a Thursday night, if you lived
MTV was a big thing, Alan.
Yeah, exactly. But like Top of the Pops was a big thing. You'd sit in front and you'd want to see where you're, up 4 places from number 14. It's Howard Jones with new song.
MTV died at the end of last year, I think, or the beginning of this year. There is no MTV. It's gone.
Yeah, because it's all on demand.
So if you're talking about the artists and the music, that's what you're coming down to. So I'm saying I don't know enough about the new artists this year, so I'm sorry, but I've got to go with 80s. So.
The technology was far late. The technology now is incredible. We'd never have imagined if somebody told you in 1985 that you were going to have a portable phone that you can carry in your pocket and you can listen to any musical track that's ever been released, you'd be like, take my money now. How much is it? I'll take my money now. So the technology now is incredible. The quality of headphones is incredible, but it's disposable, and I think the experience and the warmth and just the engagement that you had when it was records, I think I'm going to have to. It's probably 52% 1985, 48% now. So I'm going to go. So we're going for 1985.
Yeah.
1985.
If you're talking technology, it's different because even though, and I'll just touch upon it just briefly. Who knew that I could actually, back in the 85, knew that a little bit later on I could have a portable CD player that I could have as like a Walkman. I mean, technology was going forward just as fast. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
you know, it's one
So
of those things.
it's. I'm going to ask you to rethink. It's not, forget about the music. You know, whether you liked Howard Jones and it's, you know, now it's
Yeah.
forget
So
about the
take the
artist.
bands and the music
If
out of the equation.
yeah, if it's how you listen to music. Back in 1985, it was the radio, it was in a pub, it was Top of the Pops, it was CDs, it was CDs, it was records, whatever. Now you can just go in and go, I want to listen to AC/DC, Highway to Hell. Boom. What experience do you prefer now or back then? For me, it's going to be
I
it's going to
can
be 85.
I can recreate the pop and crackle of a vinyl on an MP3 if I want to go back to the experience of how you listen to things. So I'm going to have to say that the technology wins every time now.
So you're going for now?
Yeah.
Right, so that's going to be a draw. Oh no, sorry, we need to ask people. Right, but we'll start moving on. Right, folks, it's time to.
That's technology. We're talking technology there, Alan.
Yeah, well, it's the experience of how we listen. It's how we listen to music now and how we listen to music in '85.
All right, hang on then.
Yeah,
right.
so
I was talking about technology.
Yeah, no, it's how you listen to music now.
How I listen to music was always going to be the 80s. Because I already told you I could go into a pub and listen to a live band. I could have a vinyl record. I could have, I could actually listen to music on TV, on the radio. Yeah, 80s.
Yeah, it's yeah, for me, the experience of music, how we
And I
listen
could
to
actually afford to go to a band. I could actually go to a concert and afford it.
You don't have to mortgage or sell your granny to go. Right, okay, music wins. Right, computers.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to talk about. We're not talking about each bit of computers, but just you've got a PC. I've got a PC in my bedroom. You've got a PC in your games room. Back in the day, you had the Commodore 64, Amiga. Right, you can go first.
No, you're going to go first.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Right, I'm going to do 2026. I've got a PC which is allowing me to do this, the internet. This is, we couldn't do that in a Commodore 64. Well, maybe you can in Ultimate, but we're not going to get into that's new. You can do this. Any game that I could play on any computer that I owned, I can do in this. I can make it look better. I can speed it up. The games, that we'll kind of discuss games as well. Yeah, the games look photorealistic.
So do you want to put computers and games together? Because I must admit,
well, we keep them separate.
Well, I think they ought to be.
Right. Well, we'll put hang on, computer games. Right. We'll take computer games out of the equation. Yeah, you can do everything with you get there's not very much that you there's not very much that you that you can't do on a PC. Now, everything that I could do on my Commodore 64 or Amiga, I can do on that. That's the good side. The downside to like a modern computer is it's become soulless. It's just, I don't see, Dale, what's your computer? Have you seen the Paul and Harry and Paul show where one of them is Bill Gates and one of them is Steve Jobs?
No, I haven't seen that.
Hi,
no.
Steve. What's your latest processor? Oh, I've got an Athlon 466. Oh, yeah. How much memory? I've got 4 gig. Oh, I've got 12 gig. Oh, yeah. And they're getting really like, they're like they're almost like coming, they're talking about technology. Oh, yeah. And, you don't, I couldn't give a shit about what computer you've got. You're not interested in what my computer is. We've got a computer. Yeah, that's it. There's no, you don't say, so you don't talk about computers. So it can do anything I want it to do. I've got 2 big screens and I can put it on my bloody headset and my VR. I could be downstairs in my living room playing a game on my headset.
You can play Android on your watch, can't you?
So the computers can do so much more, and everything that my Commodore 64 can do. That's the good side. The bad side to this is, it's become soulless. I can be playing Drop Zone using a a gamepad, and I'm using my keyboard, and it doesn't feel like I'm playing a Commodore 64 game. I can't go to a shop and say, "Excuse me, can you show me where your video games are, please?" Oh, right, okay. Oh, that looks good. Oh, right. Oh, yep. Yep. It's all online. All right, I'll go to Steam. Right, I'll buy that game, download, and right, that's it there, and got it right away. There we go. Yeah. 1985. And I've said this before. The excitement I felt when I got my Commodore 64 was incredible. When I moved to the Atari ST, it was incredible. When I moved to the Amiga, it was like, wow, listening to like the demos and all that kind of stuff. When I moved to, we can include gaming consoles as well, whatever. Like, when I moved to the PC, it was like, oh fucking hell, Doom, Jesus, and then that was it. And then now you get a new graphics card, or even get a new. I've seen me getting. You're probably guilty of it as well. You get like a new bit of tech. Well, how's that new bit of tech you got, Dale? And you're like, oh, to be honest, I've not even opened it up yet.
Yeah.
I got my PlayStation 4 and it sat unopened for about a week.
I still haven't opened my multi-system too. I can tell you that now.
Here we go. We've just become like the whatever. Back in 1985, there was something special about going to a shop, going to the computer department and looking on Spectrum, Commodore 64, and like, oh, fucking hell. And obviously, if you're a dragon, then you're like limited to 2 games, fucking hell. Horace and the Spider, or not Horace, whatever he was called. I can't remember what he was called. Cuthbert in the jungle.
Cuthbert in the jungle.
Yeah, and Cuthbert in the caves or something. So yeah, the whole getting on the bus, going into town, going to the computer shop, having a look, and then if you got the latest Zap magazine, oh fucking hell, Summer Games 2. Oh, I hope they've got Summer Games 2. Reading the reviews, reading the magazines, all that, the excitement, getting the game, coming back in the bus, opening up the box, taking out the instruction leaflet and looking at the graphics and reading about it, and it was great. And then you got home, and then it wouldn't fucking load, or the game was absolutely fucking shit. But anyway, so there was all that. There was that whole thing. The excitement of new technology was incredible.
Yeah.
And being alive, being a teenager at the very, very cusp of when the industry started to grow and grow and grow was incredible. We were there for, I know we're talking about computer games, but Space Invaders and all that. So it was phenomenal. And I could say, you've got a BBC, yeah. So what's Elite like? Oh wait, you ought to try that. Oh, this game revs, fucking hell. Oh, what's it like? Oh, it's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a bit shit in my computer. And comparing, talking about your different computer systems and all that, it was great. It was great. So that said, would I go back to owning a Commodore 64 now, or would I have my PC? It would be 2026 every day of the week, because I can still play all these games. I can do so much more with it. If it wasn't for having a PC, having a webcam, I couldn't do YouTube. I wouldn't know you. I wouldn't have all these friends that are watching this. I love the, like, buying a game now is soulless. But would I want to have 1985 technology and how we bought stuff? No, I would pick what we've got now.
Yep. So there's nothing for me to add, because you've just said it so beautifully, Alan. So I'll keep it very, very simple. When we're just talking basically computers, nothing else.
Yes. No.
It's like talking about, I mean, I could actually merge this with cars, right? Back in the day, there was different shapes, different models, different capabilities, just like cars. You look at the stuff today, you can mimic absolutely everything. My car that's out there is perfectly good, but it's nothing like the cars that you could probably buy off the forecourts now. All the electronic goodies that you can have inside your car certainly will make you go, oh, I want a new one. But there's nothing that takes you away from the nostalgia of having that. Oh, it looks like a bread bin, or it looks like this, or it's got this rubber key, or this has got hard type keyboards and all of that sort of stuff. They were all different shapes, different sizes, different capabilities, and it was exciting because one was different to the other, and one scored better in this particular area than something else. Now you get to the PC stage, the World Wide Web has took over, all of that sort of stuff, and technology moves forward, and you can mimic it. Soon as you could mimic everything, the game changed. The whole structure and everything changed. Even now, they've just announced that the Nano Board 25 is coming out, and it replaces the Nano 10 in regards to FPGA, which means that we're just around the corner of having Dreamcast emulation and PS1 and PS2, and your old Nano 10 FPGA is going to be obsolete because the Nano 25 is the same price as the Nano 10 when it first came out. It's 248 quid, so you're back to the £500 mister again, but this time it does all of this new stuff. So all we're getting at here is the mister is a block of technology. It looks like a square block. It looks bland. A PC, even from the earliest days, a beige piece of block with no redeeming features to it other than the CD drawer is at the top rather than it is at the bottom on this one. It's about as bland as that. So it's a no-brainer when it comes to computers and all of that sort of stuff. You've got to look at now. It doesn't matter about the excitement of all the different colors, shapes, sizes, capabilities, and how excited you got when you went, I'm opening this for Christmas, and I took it out the packaging, the styrofoam was all over the place, and I got the damn thing out, and I was plugging it in and all of that sort of stuff. Tuning it in. Who thought you had to tune the damn thing in? I would go with the technology today because I can mimic it all.
If you took, I mean, Calder Stardust, good evening, Squire. He said the eventual adoption of the World Wide Web. I love, you never hear people talking about the World Wide Web. Brilliant. That's what really made computers sort of change. I mean, some of my happiest memories is, you know, getting to buy a computer, going to a computer club and looking at games and all that kind of stuff. If this big tower thing that's under my desk, if all that could do was play computer games, then I would 100% go for 1985. The experience of buying games back then is way better than it is now. But it's the fact that this can do this, what we're doing right now. I can play all these other games. I can do so much more. I can do YouTube. I can talk to people on the other side of the world. It's, you know, my heart says 1985, but if somebody says to me, right, would you like me to take this away and just give you a Commodore 64? There will be no internet or anything. I will
say this, Alan, because I think some people are confused. We are talking computers, not the games.
Yes,
it is computers we are talking about. So if somebody just turns around and says digital sucks or whatever it is, sorry, Steve, but I have to point out that I've just read your comment there. We're talking about the computers themselves. We ain't got the games yet. Games are a totally different thing, right?
Yeah,
I'm talking about the computers.
Yeah. Do you want a Commodore 64 or a Spectrum, or do you want a PC? I would go for the Commodore.
Do you want to go back to the days where you got a Commodore 64 and its capabilities? Are you happy to be where you are with a PC that can do all of this? With a Mister and an FPGA?
Or you can load...
Which side are you on?
Yeah, load Beachhead. So I think computer hardware, we're both going for 1985. It's not looking very good for 2026, but anyway, right. Computer games, right? I'll let you go first with computer games.
Well, it's the same sort of thing, really. Only this time, nothing will ever beat the excitement of back in the day when I'd got my computer and I'd finally got the money to buy a tape drive or a disc drive, and I could now go downtown. I could see games running in the windows. I could go into the store. I could actually play on them for a little while, and then I could save up, and then I'd get the money up together to buy the game, get it home and play it, right? All the games were always trying to beat the next game. So this graphics came out and they had to try and beat those graphics from the last time that it came out, and the sound had to be better than the last game that came out. And they were always trying to think of a new control system or a new whatever it was, and it all had to fit in a certain amount of space and all this sort of stuff, right? And then we get to where we are today. Who gives a shit how much space it takes up, how much, whether you're going to go, whether you're going to get it digitally or you're going to be able to buy it as physical media. We just want you to have that game. That means that you're not going to have, just like records and stuff, you're not going to have something physically in your hands. You're not going to have a gatefold or a book to read through or a manual. A PDF is what you're going to get, is a file. You're not going to get no manual that you can read through. It's easy to, and I won't go any further than that because I know that you're going to come up with much better reasons than me. But I would choose 85 every time.
Yeah, I think we know where I'm going to be going. Do computer games excite me now? No. Nah. I have spent the last week playing, you can't see it, playing that thing there, the Commodore 64 Ultimate. It's a Commodore 64, but it's got some lovely enhancements. And I sat last night for about 2 hours playing Rescue and Fractalis.
Yeah.
I played it for 2 hours. I couldn't tell you the last time I played a computer game for 2 hours. I think I probably speak for you and probably all the guys in the chat. We were reared on extremely basic computer games where, a ship. The example I always go for is Beam Rider. Your ship is just this little triangle, and you've got these little circles coming down the screen. The graphics, they didn't look like aliens, they didn't look like spaceships, but our imagination filled in the gaps. As far as I was concerned, I was flying a spaceship. And the playability, because the graphics were shit, the playability had to be top notch. There were really simple games, and it was all about high scores, and you could, you had, like, if we take it back to like arcade games as well, it was all about, and the example I say to anybody when people go, oh, computer games are better now, I says, so what was the last game you completed? Oh, I completed, I don't know, fucking Call of Duty, fucking Vietnam, or I don't know if that's even a game, Call of Duty 6 or something. All right, okay, yeah. And
26 in it.
Did you post it on Facebook that you completed it? No. And I go, man, this is a lie. But if I got 65,
don't even start me with achievements.
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah, if I got 65,000 in Defender, I would be posting it on the Mamemeister Facebook page and in Discord. Fucking just got 65,000, and people go, fucking brilliant. There's kudos, there's boasting rights when you get a good score. So games to me were far simpler, far more enjoyable. And games now, there's no creativity. I mean, back in the day, you had things like, like Manic Miner, you had School Days, you had Trash Man, you had Drop Zone, you had Bruce Lee. Games were different. There was no game, nothing was off limits.
Have you thought about this, Alan? Early access. I mean, you're not even buying a game now. It's early access. And of course, you're now bug testing something before it comes out.
Yeah. And the whole you described it really well. I'm not going to go and get it off my shelf, but I've got the Boxed Elite that came out for the Commodore 64, and it's you've got your that was probably, there's not many games that were better than that. You had your box, you got your instructions, you got your novella, you got a little card to label the keyboard, you got a poster, you got about 10 things in the box. And it was part of the experience. All right, don't get me wrong, a lot of, I don't have any here, but most of the cassette tapes you opened it up and you took the tape out, and then you took the little bit and there was like a wee bit of instructions on it, whatever. But yeah, you got some of the games like by Microprose, like F-15, Strike Eagle, or
Gunship, yeah.
Gunship, yeah, that's another good example. You got all this stuff, and it was just the experience of playing games and buying games. But even forgetting the packaging, the buying experience was great. I can only go by what games I play right now. I play far more old games. I've been playing that Commodore 64 a lot since I got it. Not interested. I mean, there's nothing that I would look at. Yeah, the graphics are phenomenal. I mean, you just have to watch some people playing like Elite Dangerous or whatever, and the graphics are, I mean, PS5 and all that kind of stuff. They're stunning. But I'm just like, nah. Game of Drop Zone, or I was playing Bruce Lee the other day there as well. So yeah, for me, it's 1985 every day of the week.
Yeah.
You 1985? I don't know. If,
yeah. Like I said, the whole digital nature of things and the excitement I had of getting off my ass, walking downtown to buy something, and walk all the way back up the bloody great big hill to actually get home and put the damn thing in, only to find it didn't load. I didn't give a shit. I was then walking back down again. Doesn't matter how fat I was, right? I was going, I ain't having that. I'm going down. I've got to have something to play this weekend. Christ, they shut in half an hour. I've got to get down there. If I wasn't screaming at my dad to say, Dad, drive me down, and I ain't going to get down there in time to get the tape. It's that experience that I'll I can't put the thing about it is I can't put a finger on when it changed, because I think it was console. It was console because CDs were on PCs and you had manuals in those CDs. Consoles, you got when the store came out on a console, that was the death knell.
The online, that's when it all changed.
Because I can remember buying PC games that had inlays and manuals and all of that sort of stuff, and I was buying things like Lord of the Rings CD real-time strategy game and things like Age of Empires and all of that sort of stuff, right? And those were great. And it must have been Steam, when Steam came out, that things possibly changed. I don't know, but I've got a funny feeling it was consoles that killed it for me.
I think online that just changed it. I mean,
what I'm saying is the World Wide Web was around when I was buying Black and White by Peter Molyneux's game. That's still around. I still went to PC World to buy that game.
Yeah.
It was Steam, I think. I think it was when Half-Life 2 came out. It probably was the changer. But I've got a funny feeling it was console stores that stopped you from selling your media, into a shop, or giving it your mate. And all sorts of stuff,
yeah. No, I think for me it was the when I could no longer go to a shop and look at games. And the thing is, I suppose, is when the World Wide Web, when the internet came along, suddenly I didn't have to watch Games Master or get Zap. I could just go into YouTube and type in the latest game and go, well, that looks all right, I'll go and buy it,
Thinking about it, the last time I really, really enjoyed a console game was Resogun.
Oh, yeah.
I think everything else has been an interactive movie.
Did you ever play
all narrative with press X now, press Y now, press B now?
Have you ever played Next Machina, which was by Eugene Jarvis, as like a Robotron for the present? Have you never played that?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. No, I mean, I'm still. I mean, I had a SNES for a wee while, and I remember. I mean, the games for a SNES were like 40 quid. And I remember I had to go through to a shop in Edinburgh, and I had 40 quid in me. I'm like, oh, did I get Super Street Fighter or did I buy Superman? Oh, God, I don't know. And I picked one up. Oh, but I want that. Oh, I also want that. But then the minute the internet came along and games became, you could download a game. That's when it just.
You see, I cheated with the SNES because I had that backup device. So that you backed up everything to tape to floppy disk. So
Right, computer games. We've already picked that one. Right, I've got bad news, folks. We've oh god, all right, we've got about. We're probably about a quarter of the way through. We've been going for an hour and a half.
Honestly, so... just go quickly on these, like fast food. That shouldn't take very long to talk about.
Aye, well, yeah, I don't. I mean, if it means that we have to do this in 2 weeks' time, then I'm up for that.
Yeah, I'm up for it. Yeah, no problem.
We can do it rather than rush it. I'd rather not rush it. Right, the next one.
You pick the next one then. Go on.
Yeah, right. The next one is phones. Okay, 1985. There was no mobile phones. The phone was in the house, and yeah, you'd phone your mate, or your mate would phone you. That was pretty much it. Or else you could go when you're out, if you're going to the pub, whatever, you could go outside and you could use a phone box. And that was it. That was it. That's the only 2 ways you could phone. You could either use the phone in the house, or you could use the phone outside. Now we've got smartphones. I've got an equal amount of hatred towards smartphones as I do love, because social media, people, there's somebody just been knocked down in a motorbike. Get the phone out, just fucking video him. Oh, is he moving? Oh, he's not. Oh, he's dead. He's dead. Oh, fucking hell. You know, it's if bring back the Nokia, whatever it is, 3310 or something, whatever it is. Yeah. Would I want to go back to having to rely on a phone in the house and using the phone box, or would I prefer having something in my pocket that I can phone with? Then for me, it's going to be 2026.
Yeah,
I'm not bored about it being a smartphone, but I don't think you can buy a non-smartphone. But having a phone that you can just pick up and phone somebody is great.
Yeah. Pretty much mirrors yours, although I must admit we're covering again technology here. I remember all of those days that you've just talked about, the analog phone system with the dial that you had to use. You know, you had to dial 8 digits or 6 digits, and you were there going round and round and round. I remember the systems where you had a phone box at the bottom of your street on just about every street, and when those boxes would change, they were turned into pay card systems. And then when the pay card system went away, all the phone boxes went away. That was it. You had no phone boxes whatsoever. And that probably came around because of the mobile phone. But we have to understand here that the mobile phone has been around about 85. You actually did have people that had them in their cars. BMWs had mobile phones in them. They were fixed inside there. And if you had a mobile phone, you were carrying around a bloody great big suitcase that came along with it.
Right?
I mean, we're talking heavy duty. The battery would just about make you Arnold Schwarzenegger's arm to actually pick the damn thing up, right? Tomorrow's world will prove all of this to you. The thing about it is I would go, if I could talk about this in more depth, I would like to go back to the Nokia days rather than the smartphone days. I think I was so excited by Steve Jobs's idea of a slab that did absolutely everything. I was excited by it. The BlackBerry was the closest thing to that, you know, with the keyboard at the bottom and a display at the top that had email and a camera, you know, great. But I keep saying now, I'd certainly like it that I'd like the phone to be a phone again. I don't want it to be a Swiss Army knife anymore.
Yeah.
The Swiss Army knife idea of everything inside this device, I think, is its ultimate downfall. Even back then, when Nokias were coming out, Sony had a different type of look to their phone. Theirs could be a clam phone. One would have a speed jog dial. One would have an aerial sticking out. One wouldn't have an aerial. One would be flip. One would be touch sort of like buttons. Others would be buttons that are raised. Different models all had a different characteristic. Yeah. Now it's a tablet. It's a piece of glass with a metal back. Or
I'm just looking at Calden says here, in its function as an actual phone, smartphones aren't that good. the speaker and mouthpiece are not designed in mind for using as a phone. They're designed to accommodate the screen. I totally agree. I think Steve Jobs created a bit of a monster with the smartphone, because it's like you, I would be quite happy if they said, right, Samsung and Google and Apple, we're now going to take the phone functionality off the smartphone. It's just going to be a tablet, a portable tablet. If you want to watch the internet or watch Twitch, you can buy this portable tablet thing. They had a thing called the iTouch, and I know it sounds a bit dodgy, the iTouch. It was Jimmy Savile. He was an iTouch. Yes, I mean I had an iTouch, and it was a smartphone. It was like a tiny little tablet the size of your phone, and I can always remember going.
It actually looked like the phone.
Yes, I can remember going to a party, and people are like, "Oh, I'm going to let this guy see your iTouch," and I'm like, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Look at the photos," and he's like, "Fucking hell!" And it was getting passed around, and folk are like, "Jesus, how much was this?" Fucking this is incredible. So yeah, I would quite happily have a phone. And if you want to have this tiny little iPad thing, then that's fine. You get that. But yeah, I'm 100%. I agree with you. I think it's
the Swiss. I don't like the Swiss Army knife type idea on it. In fact, actually, the biggest characteristic, I think somebody turned around and said this the other day, that they buy their phone now based on the camera on it than anything else.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, if it hasn't got a sensor that's like this with 5 different lenses, one for digital zoom, one for this, one for that, and all the rest of it, then I ain't interested in it, because the phone is just a phone bit, and it connects to the internet, and they all do that.
Yeah, keep it separate. Right. Sell a phone and have your little portable smart.
I wouldn't want to go back to the days of me having to put my finger around, going around like this, and I wouldn't want to go back to the days where I had to look for a phone box to actually make a phone call because I'm going to be late or something's happened or whatever.
Well, they either didn't work or they were always smelling of piss.
Yeah. The mobility of the phone is very, very important, but the phone being a Swiss Army knife is not.
Yeah. And if you wanted a hooker, you could just go into the phone box. Oh, there, busty soon.
Yeah,
you got a pen. You got a pen. Wait a minute.
You got that. You got that on Facebook now.
Now you just get your smartphone out and take a photograph of the card. There you go. So yeah, right. Phones, 1985 or 2026.
2026.
Hey, 2026 is on its first one. Right, this is going to be a bit of a long one. TV programs.
Do you know, I wondered whether you were going to leave that till next time, because it was such a complex one and one for me.
Shall we? Yeah, I think that's quite. Yeah, we'll leave that one for part 2. Let's go for right. You spoke about phones first, I think. Yeah, you did. I'm going to talk about fast food. Fast food in 1985 was chip shops. You can go in and get a bag of chips, get a fish supper or a fish tea, as you English people call it. I'm sure there was a Wimpy in Edinburgh. There was a Wimpy, and so you could go in and get a burger. I think it might have even done a cheeseburger.
Well, I was going to say this, but do you count that as fast food?
Yeah, I'm talking about like eating out, fast food. I don't mean microwave. I'm talking about going outside and.
No. I'm just saying that McDonald's is go to a counter and you say, "I want this," and you take it out. And Wimpy is a bar, is a place where you had tables.
Yeah,
and you basically sat down and had something. Like Wimpy is also a Bernie Inn, or you had Little Chef. All of those are not what I consider fast foods. Fast food to me is a chip shop or a Chinese or a.
We'll kind of call them takeaway food in the house.
Takeaway, right?
So yeah, you had your Wimpy, you had your chip shops. I don't recall Chinese takeaways existing in 1985.
No, we did.
Maybe they did. Yeah, in fact, they did.
We didn't have many Indians, but we had Chinese.
Yeah, Yeah. Just Eat and all that kind of bollocks, that wasn't a thing. McDonald's
Yeah,
wasn't
no one's
really a
Uber
thing.
or anything else.
Yeah, yeah. You had things like Spud You Like. Remember Spud You Like?
Yeah.
I mean, how simple a business plan. Tell you what, why don't we open a restaurant and we'll sell baked potatoes?
Yeah,
Fucking great idea.
we even had Happy Eater and Golden Egg.
I don't remember Golden Egg. I remember Happy Eater. It's like a pea or something, or was it a little baked bean with a face?
Little Chef was the big one.
They
That
were
was
always like
everywhere. Little Chef was
roadside.
everywhere.
They were like roadside cafes, and the food, if I remember rightly, the food wasn't particularly good, was it?
I'll tell you what we didn't have too much of. We didn't have many pizza places.
No, like Pizza Hut and Pizza, like
They weren't
Domino's.
around because it was
No,
Pizza Land was actually the first pizza restaurants in England. Pizza Land.
I don't remember them. I know
And
London probably had.
they turned into something else later on.
Yeah, I mean London probably had some stuff that like maybe McDonald's, whatever, but certainly in Scotland. I mean, I can still remember. I think it was maybe 1988, 89. A McDonald's opened in Edinburgh, and me and my mates used to pile onto the bus and go through get a
Yeah,
McDonald's.
McDonald's in our area was 86.
Yeah, yeah. So you guys are a wee bit ahead of the game, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of what other Pancake Place. Do you remember Pancake Place?
No, we never had that.
Oh, really?
No,
There was one in
no.
Edinburgh, and all they sold was pancakes. I think you maybe.
Do you remember when we met in London? I turned around and said, What do you mean, Five Guys? What you bloody hell are you talking about?"
Oh, you never heard of that before? Oh.
No, I'd never heard of them, never seen them, never wanted. And I went,
It was just, yeah, I mean, at that point, it was just in London, but I mean, we've got Five Guys in Livingston now.
No.
No.
That's my first and only experience of that restaurant.
Yeah. No, I mean, their food's pretty good, but it's expensive. But yeah, so yeah, that was what you're limited. Now we have Wagamama, Nando's, obviously McDonald's, you've got Burger King, you don't have any Wimpies anymore. You've still got chip shops and all that kind of stuff. You've got the Deliveroo. You don't even have to. You can just lie in your bed and get a pizza delivered.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Even Greg's. I mean, Greg's and that does
Christ,
it now, you know?
they'll deliver kebabs now to your bloody home. You know?
Yes.
You used to go and have a kebab after you'd been to a nightclub, and it was a proper bloody shop that you went into. But now they'll deliver it to you.
And then obviously, well, you know, not forgetting the price. I mean, you kind of alluded to earlier on about going to the pub, going to get pissed, and you went to the cash line, you took a tenner out, and that was your night covered. That was,
yeah,
I don't know, 5 or 6 pints of beer, and you walk home and you go to
10 quid won't get you into a nightclub.
Oh, Christ, I know. I got a bag. I was in Edinburgh a couple of weeks ago with my mate, and I asked for a small bag of chips, £5.
Yeah.
For a small bag of chips. You're like, fuck it.
As long as they taste as nice as the chip shop that I took you to when you came here, it doesn't matter if they're a fiver, but sometimes you get the dodgy ones.
Cauldron saying, I can see Alan asking Dale, you want 5 guys? And Dale being very confused. And I see, maybe if they came up with a version 5 birds, then there you go. Do you fancy a 5 birds tonight? Oh, yeah.
It's very sexist, actually. How can you call it 5 guys and mean, yeah.
So, right, would you prefer the high street food takeaway places now or back then?
So I'll tell you what, this is a tricky one because I must admit I don't count Wimpy as fast food.
No, it's a takeaway though. Yeah,
it's just that this is the difficulty for me. Even established restaurants and even pubs now do takeaway. I can have a roast dinner from my pub delivered here. You don't have to eat in.
Yeah.
Right. So everything now is takeaway. From that point of view, every country in the world is probably at my fingertips to actually have as foods that I could. I mean, I could have I don't know, Korean. I could have whatever it is. I could have all these different tastes, and I can have them at my. I can have them at my door in seconds. I suppose, really, if you think about it. And from that point of view, I'd be hard pressed to turn around and say that 1985 was great, because I'd have to actually, my dad would have to get in the car to get to a chip shop, or or do anything. So I'm probably going to have to say, regrettably, 2026, because the world is my oyster and my experience as well. But I'd say this, and this is the one credit of it all: the quality and the size and the bang for your buck money was 85.
Even the
Absolutely.
A bag of chips back in 1985.
If I turned around and said, if I was to turn around and go back in 1985 and I said, I want a large bag of chips, if they had 3 different sizes of chips, they'd say, what, are you sure you want to carry a bag full of chips? Because that's probably pretty much what you'd be getting. You go to a large bag of chips now, you'd say, I swear that was a small bag of chips last week.
And the chips,
put another scoop in. For God's sake, I had more than that last week. We're now complaining.
Yeah,
we're not getting enough.
Chips just don't taste the same. I mean, back in the day, they were good evening, Mark. How you doing, buddy? They were cooked in like animal fat, and they tasted delicious. Whereas now it's very, very rare. I mean, the last really, really good bag of chips I got was when I was down seeing Panther about 4 years ago, down in a place called Bideford. And
I thought you liked my chips the best. God, Jesus,
what the hell was
it?
It wasn't. In fact, the chips you got for your bit was pretty good as well. But no, it was called, what's it? Westward Ho.
Ah, right.
Or Westward Ho. Yes. I'm with you in the taste, but I think the fact that we've got such a wide variety of food now, Thai, Vietnamese, you've got anything you want. I'm going to
my dad always used to say, when it came to fish and chip shops, he said they always taste better in the winter than they do in the summer, because the oil is changed and you're using old potatoes, not new potatoes, when you're having them in the So, and he used to tell me these things, and he was dead right. In the winter they tasted better than they did in the summer. Now you couldn't give a shit. They're cooked in bloody all sorts of different oils, and they probably use the oil from last week as well. Probably, I don't know.
The old vegetable oil and that kind of bollocks. Right, how are we doing for time? Right, we've got 12 minutes. Right, shops. Just the general experience of going to a shop now. I'll let you go first. Your experience, 85 over.
Well, I mean, I must admit, in the 80s, I did love going into the high street or going into a precinct, and I had all these different shops and different experiences. I could go and have buy a record from Woolworths. I could go into Currys and buy a piece of an electrical equipment, or a video, a blank videotape or something. I could go to Woolworths and get a pick and mix, and I could buy a new pair of jeans from Top Man, all of that sort of stuff. The death knell of it all came with the internet and the high street moving out into small shopping suburbs outside of town. I hated that as well. I think the Conservatives or something came along and said, oh, you should have shopping villa type things,
Retail parks.
I hated that.
Retail park.
Retail parks.
That's but you've got your what have you got? You've got your Argos. Well, I was going to say Argos. You know Argos now. You've got your G&D Sports. You've got your Pets at Home, B&Q. Boots, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right. So I loved the idea that I could actually see the product and buy it and go and great. When it comes to 2026, the high streets are dead, which saddens me. But when you've got a powerhouse like Amazon, and Amazon don't give a shit, you can buy something, you can have it delivered to you, and you could wear it, and you could probably send it back saying, nah, it didn't fit. And they will just give you your money back. They won't even quibble in regards to
question it.
Oh, don't you know the UK law and all of this sort of stuff, that once you've worn it and all of this sort of stuff, they'll just turn around and say, okay, send it back. We'll give you your money back. It'll be back in your account in 5 days. Or would you like a voucher? You can have a voucher and you can put it in your wallet. from that point of view, you don't even have to see something. It'll be with you the same day or the next day. And from that point of view, you can't knock it, really. Amazon is going to destroy the high street. If it's not already gone in your town or your village or your city, you are on it. It is on life support. And even the retail parks are just about gone. It wouldn't surprise me if you didn't have DFS inside Amazon in about 5 years' time, and you'll be getting your sofas delivered, and so forth. It's as simple as that now. There's they're price cutting everything, and their customer services is absolutely fantastic. In fact, the only thing that lets Amazon down is their delivery team, and they don't even control that. I told the Amazon guy on the phone the other day, I said, your customer support is brilliant. Your products, I really, really enjoy when I get. If it's damaged, you just have no quibble about it. Your delivery team, shit. I tell them, don't leave stuff on the step outside the front door. They leave it on the step on the front door, right? But I tell you, it's been nicked, and you just go, "Oh, we'll refund you then." Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. When you start turning that around and saying we don't believe that it's actually, we've got a picture of it that says it was delivered on your step, then things will change. But right now, so I've got to really, I think, go with the shopping experience. I loved 1985's shopping experience, but the very nature of the fact that I can have anything and I can have it nearly the same day, and they won't even quibble in regards to whether I even got it or not. I've got to go with 2026, unfortunately.
Yeah.
My nostalgia in my head says 85, but I know that my brain is telling you, don't be so bloody stupid. It's got to be 2026.
Yeah. Pretty much echo what you've said. There was something nice about going up to shops and just walking about, and going back to like computer games or records, just browsing, having a look to see what you want to buy, picking them up. Going into Argos, you would go into get the catalogue out and you'd flick through. And I mean, even though you didn't, well, you would then place your order, and then you'd have to wait and they'd bring it to you. Now Argos has been reduced to a tiny section in Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
And it's like one girl and 5 tablets, and it's like soulless. It's like buying online, but you go into a shop to do it. So yeah, the shopping experience in 1985. It's probably nostalgia. It was, you had your big, massive superstores that sold everything. You don't get them anymore. They were great. Good, but like yourself, I mean, the high streets are dead. You go to Edinburgh, even Princess Street was like the crown jewel of Edinburgh. You've got Edinburgh Castle, and you've got Princess Street. Now Princess Street, I wouldn't say half of it, but there's a fair bit of it's empty. It's like boarded up. A lot of the big shops. I mean, like there was a shop called Jenner's, which was, I would call it like if you ordered Harrods from Temu, you would get Jenner's. It was like a budget version of Jenner's, but it was like it was a real classy shop. It was expensive, and it was like basked in nostalgia and history and all that. It'd been there for over 100 years, and it had to close down because they couldn't keep up because of online places like Amazon. When I do go up to the shops, I'll go and I don't know. Look at that. I don't know. A TV. I'm going to look at this TV.
Oh, yeah.
How much is that? £862 in Curry's. Oh, okay, hang on, Amazon. I can get it for 540 quid delivered tomorrow. Fuck it. And as much as I hate what Jeff Bezos stands for, I mean, we've got a massive Amazon warehouse about 10 minutes, about 3 miles away. And about 6 months ago, I noticed they were building a big, massive, multi-story car park. And I'm talking like 4 or 5 levels. And I'm like, where the fuck's this multi-story car park? Where is it? What's the purpose of that? There's nothing about. Why would people go to this multi-story car park? It's an Amazon multi-story car park. They've built it for their own vehicles. So that shows you how much money you've got. This massive.
They're heavily promoting their
park.
electric vans, aren't they? At the moment,
Yeah.
They're heavily promoting the fact that all their about 40% of their vans will be electronic by the end of this year, or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So you've got this. They're so huge that they've built a multi-story car park for their staff and their vans and all that. But yeah, as much as it pains me to say, I would have to go with 2026. Yeah, you don't have the experience, but if I decided, if you said to me, I goes, oh, what's that? What's that in the background, Dale? Oh, it's a new PlayStation 6. Oh, I quite fancy one of them. You know, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm going to have to wait till it's Monday. I'm going to have to wait till Saturday before I can get to the shops and have a look.
Yeah.
And they might not have any. Oh, hang on a second. Amazon PlayStation 6. Boom. It'll be coming tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So
I have to turn around and say that it says shops, but I could actually bring into it that back in 1985, I live in a town, by the way, and it's called a market town. The one downside of the whole of this is that the market went 25 years ago, pretty much, right? The market died. What followed next was Debenhams and Marks and Spencer's moved out to retail parks, and so therefore the precinct slowly died. And then the retail parks are now dying as well. And if you were to go down our high street, which used to be, by the way, a road, it was pedestrianized about 20 years ago. If you were to go down our high street now, you will find it's full of nail bars and barbers and coffee shops. That is it. And you're going, why have you got all these coffee shops when there's nothing to meet up for, to shop for? Because, you know, I mean, I don't know many people that want to meet up because I'm going to Rylands or something, I'm going to a stationery store because that's all you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. In fact, we've got 4 tattoo parlors in a small town of ours. We've got 4 tattoo parlors. We used to have one point. Now it's 4 or 5 of them. It's all cafes and coffee shops. And
it's interesting what you've said there. I'm just sitting thinking about what you're saying. You're talking about cafes, like coffee shops. I am an Octopus customer, and Lee, she's Octopus as well, and she also looks after our elderly brother's Octopus account. And every week, Monday morning, if you go in about 6:30 in the morning, they give you either a free Cafe Nero coffee or a free Greg's. So I always get my free Cafe Nero. She gets the 2 because she uses her brother's and she gets hers. So every Saturday we will drive 10 miles to go and get a coffee. But we're just driving to get a coffee. That's the only reason we drive around. Maybe not as much as 10 miles, maybe 6-7 miles. We drive like 15 miles there and back to get a coffee. And what the bit you mentioned that kind of got me thinking, because we don't have high streets with shops anymore, people are all in their living room, in their bed, ordering stuff online on their phone. They don't have the opportunity to go out and socialise. So coffee shops is the chance where people can say, what are you up to tomorrow, Dale? You fancy going to Starbucks and we'll get a coffee? Yeah. So we're using that as an opportunity to sort of socialise. But yeah, it's interesting. When I was in Benidorm in January, I met this guy, and funny enough, a Scots guy. He actually lives in Livingston. I went, oh, fucking hell. And he investigates money laundering, and he says Turkish barbers, American candy stores, and tanning salons are the 3 prime money laundering businesses. These American candy stores.
Probably people trafficking as well, probably.
Yeah, yeah. There's a. In fact, interesting you should say that, because in Livingston Centre there's a nail bar where it's all Asian people sitting, and you see all these women getting their nails done, and you walk past and all you can smell is like the fumes or whatever it was, and they've all got their little masks on. And I said to the guy, it says, I'm convinced they're all probably slaves. He says, well, actually, funny you should say that. He says, we paid them a visit not that long ago, and he says, and they're all legitimate. They've got, they've got pensions, they've got blah blah. I goes, well, I'm really, really glad to hear that, because seeing it under your nose, you're like, that's not right. But apparently, according to him, that's fine. But
yeah, apparently though, there was a bust today of two people that have got 19 years each. They operated a human trafficking thing from a car wash.
My car wash is another one as well.
19 years each. They had millions. This is the bad side of it, though. They said, although they've got 19 years each, because of the banking system where they got the money in from the Middle East and all that, where they were getting all their money in, they can't trace where that money is. So when they come out in 19 years' time, they'll have all their millions. They can't touch it because they can't follow
they don't know where it is.
The banking trace is just so comprehensive and complex. They'll never be able to work it out, even in 19 years. So they're going to be millionaires when they come out in 19 years.
Yeah,
that's awful, isn't it?
No, you think about absolutely.
The thing about it is I think that I'm hoping that the law changes. If people have been shown as being trafficking and they've got 19 years, when they come out after 19 years, stop them from being able to have a bank account.
Mm-hmm. Aye, that's true. That's true, because then if you stop them having a bank account, they can't use the money.
Can't transfer the money, can they?
And if you go to a car showroom, say, I'd like that Aston Martin, please. How much is it? £50,000. Like, come on, 20, 40, 60. But like, sorry, son, we can't take your money. So yeah, stop them doing it. But listen, I'm conscious. Well, we're now just ticked over the 2 hour mark.
2 minutes past 2 hours.
I think we should finish off with one more. We have, we're probably, this will put us halfway through. And then if people would like it, we can continue. Probably I can't do next Friday, but the Friday after, if you're up for it, Craig, we can do part 2, and we're not going to announce the results. Well, I think people know where we're going, but anyway, 2026 has made a bit of a. It's won the last 4 categories.
Had a bit of a resurgence, hasn't it?
Oh no, sorry, I've just typed in that. We've not done this one. Right, the last section we're going to talk about, and I think it's me to start, is cars.
Cars.
Right, I'm going to talk about 2026 first. Cars now are extremely boring. They're dull looking. They all look the same. Unless you're actually, I mean, you get all these SUVs, whatever they're called, mini sport utility vehicles. They all look the same. Doesn't matter whether it's Peugeot, whether it's Hyundai, or Toyota. They all look exactly the same. They're boring looking. You go back to 1985 and you could have you have like a Sierra, you have the Cavalier, you had the Fiesta, you've got your Chevette, you've got your, Capri. I mean, that was a car I always wanted as a kid, a Capri, your Mark II Escort. Cars all looked completely different. They all looked completely different. They had character about it. You look at, if you were to put a classic car like what do you call it, like an RS 2000 or a Capri, and then you compare it to a Ford Fiesta. I know what one I would pick. It would be 1985 every day of the week. So that's the good side of it. The bad side of it now is, or back then, is cars were stupidly unreliable. They would overheat. I mean, I had my second car. I think it was my second car that I bought was a Vauxhall Chevette. I had a job through, and it was actually the nuclear base in Faslane, which is pure 1980s. Had to travel through. I had an 80-mile each way to drive, and don't ask me why, but when I got in the car, after 3 miles, the temperature would go woof. It would go right to the very top, And what I'd have to do is I'd have to stop the car and then get a rag, turn the radiator, and the water would go, and the water would come shooting out. I would fill it back up, and then it was fine. I could then drive it for the next hour, and it'd be absolutely fine. But it did that, and I had to do that when I was coming home at night. Drive it for 2 miles, the temperature would rocket. Open the radiator, all the fucking water would come out. Fill it back up. I always had to carry a bottle of water with me to top up the radiator. The cars would break down. You had to. The first thing you did when you got a new car is like, right, I'm going to go to the car boots, not the car boot sale. What was it called? You'd go to the open air market and get yourself a stereo with speakers. You're like, fucking hell, whoa, brilliant, get it fitted up. The cars did not come with wing mirrors. They were optional. You had to go and buy wing mirrors for your car. They were mentally unreliable. Fast forward to 2026, cars look as dull as dishwater. Now my car can park itself. I mean, I don't have an automatic now, but you've got an automatic car. You can drive with 1 foot. You take your foot off the accelerator, the car brakes. So you can do like 1 pedal driving. You're practically holding on to the steering wheel with your finger. Even the car I bought now, it's like a 5-6-year-old Peugeot 308. It's driving along the motorway, and it'll automatically correct itself if it starts veering across. I can have it with adaptive cruise controls. I'll bang it up to 70, and it'll sit a safe distance behind the car in front. That car in front slows down. My car slows down. So you're driving with 1 finger. The stereo's got like, I don't know, 6 or 8 speakers. It sounds phenomenal. It's got air conditioning. It's got heating. It's got everything. Yeah, I'll tell you my choice once you've had your chance to speak.
I think again, you've just about filled everything that I was going to say. I can only tell you what sort of like similar stories. If you were to ask my dad, the simple answer would have been the 80s, but actually he'd be going back another 20 years because he was a mechanic and he was around in the 50s and 60s, and he always turned around and said that he hated modern cars because you couldn't work on them.
Couldn't fix them?
Couldn't get the spanners down the side of things. He talked about engine struts, and I was going, "What's that, Dan?" He said, "Oh, there's little things on the side of your bodywork where the engine would move. So of course you had to have these." And he'd tell me about all these things. Now you can't put a spanner down it. Everything's hooked up to a computer, and you Krypton tune it and everything. Your whole MOT is done by a person that just pushes a pedal and sticks a rod up the back of the exhaust, and there you are. And you probably would, because everything else is done by your lights are at the right level and everything else, because it measures the angle. On a computer. So if we're talking just pure cars, how they look, it's a no-brainer. You've already covered it. My dad always turned around and said the downside of the car came out with the Sierra. Everything from the Sierra onwards looked the same.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not.
When did the Sierra come out? Was that a 90s car?
The Ford Sierra. So that must have been early 80s, mid 80s.
Let's do a quick Google.
But if you have a look at it, every car from the Sierra onwards looked around about the same. That design was mimicked.
1982 it came out. There we go.
They are. So if you look at the Ford console and then look at the Ford Granada, the Granada looks a bit like a Sierra but elongated. It's that same sort of design, with the back going like it was.
They were going for like early cars. They were very unique looking, and then eventually it became the most streamlined thing. And obviously we've now got to the state we are now, where every car's kind
of. Of course, there were cars like Toyota MR2s that looked like Meccano, but they were gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. I've had an Astra, I've had a 205, I've had all sorts of cars through my life. My first car was a Maestro.
I could remember. Yeah, the Maestro. Yeah. Have you seen the what's that car? What's that?
No, sorry, my first car was a Maxi. Sorry, Austin Maxi 1750 HL. Yeah.
Is that the registration number? Is it?
No, the registration plate was BKV 381T.
Christ, that's good. Is that just stuck in your head?
I can always remember the first registration plate of my first car. Yeah. And everybody used to turn around and say 1750. Was that the year it was made? Not the engine size. You know, they also said if you had a sunroof, it'd be a Grundon. I had all of the jokes said about my car, but I loved it. I loved my first car. I was outside washing it every weekend. I was washing it. I was getting chrome cleaner out for the
You took pride. You took pride in your car. You know, you loved it.
Biggest piece of shit going, and I was out there cleaning it.
I mean, what was
the dirt was holding it together.
What was the joke? What do you call a ladder with a sunroof? A skip.
Yeah. But there was the variety.
There you go. Collins just said the same joke about.
There was the variety in the different shapes, and that was the thing. Every car was unique. It looked different. Yeah. Everything now it looks like an SUV. Doesn't matter. Everything's an SUV.
And you had like Capris were like burnt orange color, and you know you had exciting colors. You had like, you know, you don't really get. Do you get blue cars now? I don't think. I remember my dad. He had one of my dad's favorite cars was oh fucking hell, what was it called again? Oh shit! I've just completely. I was thinking about it a minute ago, and I've completely forgot what it was called.
Do you know what manufacturer it was?
It was. I think we spoke about it before. What the hell was it? It was it looked like one of these American, big, massive American cars. It was brown.
What, like a Daimler?
No, chocolate brown color. What the hell was it called? Oh god! It looked like an American car. It's just like it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. My dad had Humber Zeptas. He had what else did he have? He had like I said, he had a Ford Console before it was called a Granada.
But they had. I think the word we're looking for is character. Cars back then had character.
Yeah, they had character.
There is no car. Cars now don't have character.
So it's sort of like quickly. If I could have the technology now inside those old cars, I'd have it every time.
Yeah, 100%. If you had,
we haven't got that. We haven't got that choice, have we? You're talking about. Do you want to go back to those cars in '85, or do you want the cars that we've got now? And I have to look at it as functionality, isn't it? At my age, so I suppose I have to go with now.
Reliability as well.
Yeah, reliability, all of that.
Cars
sort of
now are pretty much reliable.
Oh, at the end of the day, the bodywork, the engines would die before the bodywork at one point, and then the bodywork would actually outlive the engines, you know, or the other way around. You know what I mean? You used to be able to work out when galvanized steel came out. That's when you found out that the engine would die before the bodywork. You know what I mean? But otherwise, it was always going to be the engine that would outlast the body. You know, for years and years and years. But now, it's sort of like you're going to anyway. It's a pointless question because some idiot with no insurance is going to smash into you before that happens. Because everybody can break into a car now because we've all got mobile phones that can scan the code. Yeah. There you are, you're into the car before you go off. So it's a pointless thing. So I have to go with the simple answer is it's functionality over design, unfortunately. And but my nostalgia size, I'd love to go back to
my heart says 1985, but everything else is going to be 2026. So
it is.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, right? We're going to wrap it up until next time. Well, quick score of doors.
It won't be 2 weeks. Did you just look that though? It won't be 2 weeks because you'll be in Leeds.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to be it'll be 3 weeks.
3
time,
weeks.
Then.
3
Let's
weeks.
See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it's 6-4 at the moment in favour of 1985. So it's
not far off, is it? Really?
No, it's to be honest, I was kind of thinking it was lucky if 2026 was going to get a look in, but no, there we go. And I've just thought it a fantastic one.
Colin's just put a very nice thing, by the way. He just said he remembers cars with a crank handle. My dad passed his test. My dad passed his test with a car where the indicators were little wings that you had to pull in with a piece of string. And he went down the high street with the damn thing still out and still passed his test because the driving instructor didn't see it.
I can remember. In fact, it wasn't me. It was a mate. He was going for an interview, and his accelerator cable snapped. And what he did was he opened up the bonnet. And do you remember on the top of an engine, you could pull this lever and go rum, rum. You could rev the engine.
Like the carburetor is, yeah.
Is that what it is? He got a shoelace. He tied it onto this thing. He couldn't put the bonnet all the way down. He fed the piece of string through the window, and then he had to drive the car with. He was operating the clutch and the brake with his feet, and he was using this shoelace to the accelerator.
Christ.
So he didn't miss his interview.
They had to abandon my driving test because the solenoid went in the dashboard. All the electrics cut out. I was 10 minutes into my driving test.
Yeah.
And I said, "Can I put my hand out and do the hand signals?" And he said, "No, it's just too dangerous because you can't tell what speed you're doing because the thing." But he did say, "I'll give you that. I'll give you that as a very good idea, but unfortunately, you just can't tell how fast we're going, so we're gonna have to abandon."
I'm sure the when I did the highway code book back in 1985. I'm sure there's a bit where it's like hand signals. You could put your hand out the window.
Oh yeah, you can. You do that. You do this and that and down and all that. That's why I said, "Can I do that?" Because I just took it that the indicators was the most thing that was important. But this car was a Fiat Tipo. It was a Fiat Tipo.
Tipo, I remember that.
And of course, it had an electric dash, and we couldn't work out what the speed of the car was going.
Yeah.
So I had to abandon.
The only hand signals you get now is like that.
Yeah, that. Up yours, mate.
Right, on that bombshell, folks. It's like bloody. What do you call it? Not the Grand Tour. What's the other one? What's the other one?
Top Gear. Baby Jesus.
Top Gear. Yeah, that bombshell. Yeah, we're going to have to wrap it up. So yeah, we're halfway through. We've got another. Yeah, we've got maybe slightly more still to go. Quite interesting list actually, and I've just thought of an absolute beauty which I've added, which is going to raise a bit of a laugh. But you know what? We're going to discuss everything in this channel. So anyway, folks, listen, I'm going to let you guys get going. Christ, it's 11:30. Bloody hell. Yeah, just want to say I hope you all have a really, really nice weekend. Massive thanks to you, Craig, for joining me. I did give you slightly more notice. I did say to you a couple of days ago about it, and I thought, because I was originally going to just do this as a kind of me talking, but then I thought it's much better having somebody like yourself just to come in and bat it off. It makes it a bit more fun, and it's a lot easier to do as well when you've got somebody else you can kind of bounce
I like
things
the way
off.
he says a couple of days. It was yesterday.
Was it yesterday? Was it
yesterday?
That's better than the usual.
Around about 11 in the morning, so it was all right. It is a day and a half. I'll give him that.
Well, it's better than the usual 20 minutes that I give you.
Yeah, it was more better than 20 minutes. Yeah.
Anyway, folks, listen, have an awesome weekend. I should be, I should be around on Sunday night and do another live stream. So have a great weekend. I say thanks to Craig for taking part. And finally, thank you very much for everyone that's watching. Till next time, folks, as always, have a nice weekend. See you.
Bye.